Who's a good kitty? Mr. Clinton, we haven't done a stream in a while. Have a seat. Oh, it's a good kitty. You go meow. That's my cat. His name is Mr. Clinton. And he just went meow. It's his way of... Who's a good boy? So let's see if this stream is working. How are you all doing? Assuming anybody is actually here. Let's see. Does this actually work? It is YouTube after all. I'm always impressed when I see that things actually work. Hey, how are you? Hello. I'm doing all right. I suppose I should correct that. I'm doing as well as anybody's doing in 2020. Sad, there's no Twitch chat to read. Hi, Clinton, says Derek. Why, hello. Lewis, hi from Poland. Hello, Ray. How are you doing in Poland? It's my cat. I'm just going to give him a couple of head rubs. He likes head rubs. He's a good Clinton. How is everybody doing today? You know what I find interesting on the Apple video that I did today about them getting a fine, $12 million, is there's a lot of comments saying, I mean, Lewis, you got to understand, you know, they're suing, they said it's resistant, it's not waterproof. Like, you get that, right? And the interesting thing that I learned from that is that there's a lot of people that are assuming that I was crapping on Apple before actually watching the video. And it's very interesting. Sup, Lewis? Happy Thursday. Hello. Can you shout out my friend Gargle My Balls, you piece of shit. Nice try, fuckface. Get the fuck out of here. All right. Now, I should fire Paul Daniels for not catching that. What's the point of having mods if they don't catch that? I hope Mr. Clinton is doing well, someone's. Hello. Hello, Andrew. Acousticism? Space protein? Space protein sounds weird. It just kind of sounds like a euphemism for cum or something. What a strange username you have. Should I eat a bagel right now? I don't think so. Is he black-pilled? I don't know. I'd have to like Google what that actually means. I feel like I'm getting old. Millions of dollars are peanuts for $1 trillion company. Yeah, even if they, and again, even if that's only the stock valuation, you know they've got $50 to $200 billion that's just sitting there in cash that they can use at any given time. So fining $12 million, I mean, even if you disagree with me and you believe that that is a serious issue, you fine them $12 million. That's a joke. You believe that they ripped off the Italian consumer? $12 million, really. What's your key to long-term happiness? When I figure it out, I'll let you know. How about that? My mod status is purely a ceremonial title. That's the Australian work ethic coming out of Paul Daniels right there. Do you review audiophile headphones? No, I don't. I haven't used headphones in a long time. I really much prefer my speakers when I'm at home. The issue is that they don't really misrepresent the product. Again, like liquid resistant versus liquid proof, you know. Someone said that it's possible that in Italy, the resistance and proof are the same word or something like that. I heard something like that, supposedly, like during the election, that somehow when Joe Biden was campaigning, the word progressive translated into socialist or some crap like that because they used this shitty translator or something. I don't know how true that is, but if that's true in Italy, where the word proof and resistant wound up getting blended into the same word or something, it's just, you know, translators are fucking up big time in 2020, if that's the case. What's your key to short-term happiness? Find goals that are worthwhile and accomplish them, really. Finding them is pointless, don't you think? I think finding them a few $1 billion may be worth something. Finding them $12 million for something like that, that's... If anything, if I were them, honestly, I'd continue with the false advertising because you're only going to get a $12 million fine. How much money do they make selling all that stuff? It really is... It's a joke, you know? Give some parking tickets to Bill Gates while you're at it. it's still frustrating thing for him to go after Apple on. Again, that's the part that really got me, Mr. Eric. The thing that really bothered me is, of all the issues that you could go after Apple for, you're going after Apple because they advertise it as liquid resistant, but they don't warranty it as if it's waterproof. And that's just, you got such a list of reasons to go after Apple. I've given them to you on a platter with citations, and they choose that. It's just, I don't get bureaucracy. Do you think Cuomo is going to get reelected? Yes, because the people that don't like Cuomo leave the state. And the people that are like, you know what, he's not that bad, are the people who stay in the state, who vote for him. So naturally what's going to happen is that the people that become aggravated at his politics will move to another state, and the people that stay, that don't like him, are going to be in the minority. Yeah, they didn't admit FlexGate for a long time. Do you accept internships at your store? No, I don't, because of well, two things. A, technically unpaid internships are illegal. And B, in spite of the fact that an internship that at Avatar Studios that was unpaid was my path to success, my path to learning at a very young age that allowed me to to kind of skip a couple of steps in the ladder to success in starting a business. The PR is very bad. People see unpaid internships as slavery and morally and ethically wrong, blah, blah, blah. They have no problem with someone paying $80,000 to go to college, no problem paying $30,000 for a trade school, but God forbid someone like sweep the floors in some shit to learn board repair. That's slavery. So, A, it's fucking illegal, and I'm too big a business to be doing something illegal. But B, also at 1.35 million subscribers, I just can't, like, I don't feel like dealing with the blowout of that. It's just not worth it. You know, like if I want my floors cleaned, I'll just, like, the people will show up and say, I'd like to do this. John Ellis says, can I be a mod? I've never owned an iPhone. No, you can't, because you're not in the chat, so I can't find you to name you, unfortunately. But you did present a compelling resume there. But yeah, I just don't feel like dealing with the whole, when someone shows up and says, I'd like to learn from you, I'll work for free. Whatever it is they can really offer is likely not going to be worth the negative PR on a giant scale that would show up for me. And it's really sad, because again, my path to success, the way that I was able to learn so many things that people would not have wasted time teaching me when I was a dumbass 18-year-old with no experience and a jackass, probably wouldn't happen. So it makes me sad. How much more do you think New York will disintegrate? Will that ever recover? Funny, this is actually going to be a topic for a later video. Not only do I think there's a chance of it recovering, but I think there's a chance of real estate prices going up to all-time highs that they've never hit, and a bunch of people showing up here that will make even more money and make the city even more expensive than it has ever been. So let's see. There's been a couple of articles about Google and Apple and Facebook leasing up hundreds of thousands of square feet of space of real estate in New York City, and they're not paying discount rates for this either. They're paying out the ass for it. So imagine if all these small businesses go under. And after all the small businesses and the medium-sized businesses go under, the space gets bought up by these conglomerates that can afford to pay people $180,000 a year, starting salary. And what that does is it makes it to the point where, since you can't build new housing here without going through the nightmare of Department of Building. Sonny has a good video on that, by the way, channel Sunny Days. That means that these shitty houses are no longer going to be $900,000. They're going to be $2.8 million. That's something that's very possible. It's very possible that New York recovers, but not in the way that anybody would imagine or want it to recover, where it just becomes even more expensive a place to live. And that would be a nightmare, but it's definitely something that I think could happen. And it's already happening with these large multi-billion-dollar companies leasing up giant sections of real estate in New York City over the past year. And some of it they're doing through the pandemic, which is, to me, I would imagine that's crazy, that's suicide. But a part of me kind of thinks there's a good chance that New York continues to get more expensive and more people wind up moving here that are like, the young tech types that want those jobs. Do you think the tech companies coming in New York City will end up like North California? Well, I haven't been in North California. I've only heard about North California from what I read on a very biased political website. So I prefer to see what's actually going on in an area. before I comment on those things. If you're talking about prices going up and becoming crazy, because that's typically what gets implied, that has already happened here. If you're talking about a homeless crisis, that's already happening here. You have homeless people pushing people into the subways on a more regular basis than should happen in civilized society. So, I'm not sure. Can you pet the kitty? Maybe. But he hasn't earned any pets yet. So, speaking of internship, it's pretty hard to find an international one from France right now, thanks to COVID. Yeah. Do you follow One American News Network or Newsmax, and are you on Parler? I don't follow those news networks because they are complete propaganda that just, like, they just slobber on Trump's dick all day long. And, like, I'm not saying that I don't want to watch a news network whose job it is to, constantly kick him in the dick. And I don't want to watch a news network where it's their job to suck his dick every day either. And it seems a lot of people in America really want, like, this or that. I think one of the great memes of 2020, because there's been a lot of great memes in 2020, is that 2020 is the year that people who lean on the right are starting to call Fox too liberal for them. Like, 2020 is becoming the Onion. It's becoming the Onion. The real Onion, which is just, oh God, it's crazy. All right. Hope you're doing good. My brother moved home from school in New York. He said it was too scary to stay there any longer. I don't know. It depends where you are, and it depends what you're used to. I remember meeting someone from Georgia a long time ago who came up here, like a nice, quiet, rural town in Georgia. I shit you not, this person was actually just looking around in the streets like, huh. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a normal, safe street. Nothing bad happens here, like 99% of the time. But it was just such a culture shock to them that they lost their mind. And, you have those people that are scared of anything that looks like mildly outside of what they expect, and they're afraid of everything, and they're afraid of their shadow, and they project that everywhere, and then people treat them differently. And as a result of people treating them differently because of what they're projecting, then they kind of will it into existence. I don't know. But, like, when people talk, how do you cook toilet paper? That's weird. That's very strange. I appreciate the $5, but that's an incredibly strange joke. But yeah, one of the things that I find interesting is a lot of the people who complain about the increased crime rate in New York City live in the areas where the crime isn't really affecting them. Like, again, most of the shootings that I read about in the paper occur anywhere from 2 to 6 blocks from where I live. Just recently there was one literally right down the block from me. Isn't this a great place I chose to live? I've been here I've lived in this particular apartment now for over 10 years, and I'm just kind of, if I move to just even get this exact apartment somewhere else in the city, I'd be paying an additional $1,000 to $2,000. I just don't feel like doing that. I'm stubborn. How soon is it good to ask someone for an internship who I've communicated with online? I'm getting replies. You run a sound design studio. Like, do it right now. Like, literally right now. Say, this is what I want to do with my life. This is the value I think I can offer you. This is what I'm looking to get out of it. Do you think that we can make it work? Literally, just do it now. Don't do this thing where you're thinking, I can't email him in the morning because he'll think I'm up and ready, and I can't email him late because then they'll think that I'm desperate and I'm thinking about it all the time, and I can't email in the afternoon because then he think I won't have a job. It's like, just stop. Again, if you want to go out with somebody, just ask. If you want to get an internship or a job, just ask. Who cares? It's 1 a.m. Just fucking do it. Where would you recommend recycling an old water damage S7, and where is your favorite case foam brand? eBay or Craigslist? There's somebody who's going to want that, and there's somebody who'll probably pay you for it even if it's broken. eBay or Craigslist? The best recycling is going to be done by people that want to use it for something rather than people who just want to throw it away. This unironically makes me wonder what New Yorkers feel like when they visit places they call the middle of nowhere, where every other normal American lives. I've visited those places, and you guys ain't normal. You're just a different version of fucked up than we are. Don't pretend you're normal. It's a different version of fucked up, but it's still fucked up. Because I used to have this idea in my head that when you go to certain... I don't watch baseball because it bores the shit out of me. This would kill my dad because he actually wrote like 2 published books on baseball. And I think I read 8 pages of each. I don't find baseball interesting, so I genuinely don't care. I don't follow sports. It's just, like, oh my God, that guy made $2 million this year. Wait, he beat him. He's gonna make $4 million honest, I just don't find watching people compete over who's going to make more millions of dollars that year. I don't find it interesting. I don't find the sport particularly fun, so perhaps that's why I don't find it interesting. If I were good at sports, perhaps I may find it a little interesting. If I was good at sports, I'd probably be wanting to play it rather than watch other people play, but I just don't get much out of watching sports. If you can get Lewis' attention, tell him to hit my email. I don't know what your email is. My inbox is like 3,000 unread emails, so I can just... No. I can't manage that anymore. I wonder how other New Yorkers find it, since I haven't been a city rat. Yeah, I always had this idea that, if I left New York, that's where all the normal people are. And every time I leave, I don't find normal people. I just find different brands of screwed up. And don't get me wrong, it'll be a brand that I may feel more comfortable with of screwed up people, but there's screwed up people everywhere. You ain't looking hard enough if you think they're only here. Okay. I spent the last week animating a CGI lion's nuts. What's the weirdest thing you've ever found at work? The weirdest thing I found at work was doing data recovery for a particular client that sold something that is only legal to sell, I think, in certain parts of Vegas, and having to confirm that I got the data. Some weird shit that you can't unsee. Trump voter fraud speech, what do you think? I think that he is grasping for straws, and I think that he's doing what... anybody who's kind of surprised that this shouldn't be, he said in the beginning, that's weird, seek a therapist. Anyway, this is weird. Seek a therapist. Seek a therapist. Anyway, so he said in 2016, I will accept the results if I win. He said something similar this time around. He's doing whatever it's not. I don't even think he has a particular strategy. And the reason I say that is because the evidence that gets presented in court is usually something very different than what he says publicly. So what he says publicly is this, and then what winds up getting presented in court is this, which makes it very confusing. So what that tells me is that you're just kind of looking to create as much doubt and unrest in the population as humanly possible in the hopes that if someone can find a way that you can stay in office, maybe it'll kind of happen. It's not like you're asking for it to happen, but if it happens, I'm not going to say no. How the hell did you two both do that at the same time? What kind of mic do you use at home streams? This is an Audio-Technica 4050 that I got for like $200 or $300 off Craigslist a long time ago and hammered back into place. If an LCD costs the same as the phone, but you really don't feel like upgrading to a new phone, do you think it's a bad idea to replace the screen multiple times? Galaxy S8. Yeah, if you really like the phone, you don't want to upgrade, then go for it. But yeah, as a device gets older, it's not going to be as worth it to continue fixing it. Why do you attract weird people? Because I'm weird myself. Any person that says all the women that I date are crazy, or vice versa, I'm just I have such bad luck, they're not looking in the mirror to their own internal crazy. Other than YouTube. On YouTube, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to attract a lot of crazy. Comment sections. The cancer of the internet right there. Cancer of the internet right there. Would you consider a Norwegian forest cat in the future? I don't know anything about that. I'm not thinking about the future. Mr. Clinton's going to live forever. What are your thoughts on cloud storage privacy? Oh, there was a good post on Hacker News recently about that, where someone was going for a job at Google, and they had this thing where they could install a rootkit to look through your stuff, and all they did is cross it out and say, you could look through anything related to Google, just not my personal data. And they immediately had this person that they flew out to hire, and they just said, you're fired immediately. They just took back all his credentials. Very interesting. And then they found out in the future that they were actually looking through people's data, which is crazy. I've been working on web design. I like the flexibility it offers me. Any recommendations on how I can advertise myself? I don't know, the best way to advertise yourself is to do work that doesn't suck. I mean, the way to advertise yourself the best is to do work that's going to get people to talk about you. So don't just deliver. You have to find a way to deliver, but do it in a way that's going to get people to notice. So if I'm doing a data recovery, like in the very beginning, I may actually stay at the store an additional 45 minutes late so I can call them. And if they're in like a NYU or Baruch dorm or something and it's on my way to the train, I'll say, listen, I know you got to test the study for, I'll deliver it to you. That person, that little effort that I put in there, I can't do it all the time. I cannot do it all the time. But doing something like that a couple of times is going to result in a customer that sings your praises to every single person. I think a lot of businesses, they say this service is $90 and takes 3 days, and then they do it for $90 and it takes 3 days, and then they wonder why nobody's talking about them. And don't get me wrong, once you grow, you're really not going to be able to do that. I can't offer that same kind of thing now that I'm at the point of 20 plus around their employees. I'm not always able to do it because sometimes you get absolutely mobbed. But in the beginning, when I was really looking for a way to advertise, the few clients that I did get, I made sure that the service they got was the type of service where they are going to ensure for the rest of their life that everybody that they know does not bring their Apple product to any place but here. And it's just, you really got to earn it. That's the best. Get other people to do the work for you. Because, like, you could pay for Facebook ads or Google ads or stuff like that. Fine. You may get a little bit more residual business here and there for it, but for the most part, it's going to be other people singing your praises. Do you get a lot of business from Google since you're close to their office? Not really. Do you think Trump is a billionaire? I have no way of knowing. I have not seen his books. I have no idea. A lot of people think I'm a millionaire and I'm not. Perhaps it's because anybody who's not a moron, who's a business owner in New York City for 12 years, who's well-known should be, and I'm not because I'm an idiot. But, a lot of people like to speculate on my finances, and when I see how wrong they get it with either how poor they think I am or how rich I think I am, it makes me not want to guess what other people's finances are, because it's just, your 2 videos on depression really help. Thank you. Thank you. What skills should we be developing to qualify for jobs in the near future? I don't know how to answer that question properly because there's so much of this whole essential, non-essential thing going on, and I don't really know what is or is not. I can't even tell you what types of jobs are the jobs that are going to be in demand. There's a lot of people that have been displaced from their jobs, or displaced from their companies that went out of business. So there may be a field that may have been worth getting into, but if that field now has 3 million unemployed people, now, you getting into that field doesn't really make sense because you got to compete with 3 million people that got experience. I have no idea. NZ cases would sell Biden laptop. Ah, you bastard. Are you hopeful for right to repair in the long run? I feel like these companies will make sure they destroy the idea of repairing. They're not. We're going to win. It's a long game. It's not a short game. Do you watch Donut Operator? I do because I enjoy getting I enjoy getting someone else's take on those things. You get a lot from the activist perspective, and I appreciate the activist perspective when looking at those types of cases. But I also want to hear a cop's thought from the South. It's the opposite of what I'm going to hear here, and I like to hear that. If you want to complain about Paul Daniels' software, here he is. Oh, Paul Daniels don't have to be here for me to complain about his software. Thank you to Ryan Street. What are your opinions on tech damage policies? The store I work at charges techs 50% of the price of the damaged part. It's okay normally, but high dollar parts hit pretty hard. Okay, this is going to be very important, Redis. It's very important. So I want to make sure that you take note of this. This is what are your thoughts, opinions on tech damage policies? The store I work at charges techs 50% of the price of the damaged part. It's okay normally, but high dollar parts hit pretty hard. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the $10. You are not the business owner. The business owner gets all the reward, but he takes all the risk. You're the employee. So if you get, let's say, $20 an hour, you get $20 an hour, regardless of whether the employer makes $10 million that year or makes $0 that year. So you're taking on all of the risk, but you don't get the reward. I don't even think that's legal. Quit immediately and report to your boss. I'm serious. I am a very pro-business person, but it really pisses me off when people do shit like this, because when you see the comment that I got recently, I want to start a drum business offering. Start. Just start. I don't have advice, honestly. Just start doing it. Advertise to every single person that you know, and you'll figure out really quickly if it's in demand or not. But the important thing, son of a bitch, you can't answer one question without the next one. I do eBay and no need for bashing. I have transitioned to an eBay start. My boss and I have a dispute. Part it out or make it right. It's a good question. I unfortunately don't understand the question. I apologize. So back to this one question that I'm probably never going to get to answer. I'm fairly certain that it is illegal what your boss is doing. They cannot charge you. He can fire you, and he's allowed to curse at you probably as he fires you because you've lost him money. I'm not saying it's right, but he can do that, but he cannot charge you for the parts that you break. He cannot accept all of the benefit of being a business owner with none of the liability. My employees have broken things many times that have cost me a large amount of money, and they've done things that are stupid. But I get to keep the money when things go well, so I cannot charge them when things go wrong. That's not how this works. And in the last video I did about the Microsoft spying thing, I pinned a comment from some, I imagine, hyper-socialist or hyper-communist, that, one of those people that just thinks anything that other than a worker co-op is evil and terrible and greedy. And what your boss is doing is he's creating people like that. He's creating the fringe actors that want to overturn every part of the system and destroy it. Though those people don't come out of nowhere. They show up when people abuse a system over and over and over again. And if you're someone that believes in business, if you're someone who believes in free markets and enterprise and the ability to follow your own freedom and follow your own dream and make good on it, then you want to disavow garbage human beings like that business owner at every turn. If you're a business owner, you can fire your employee. You can pay that employee minimum wage until the point that you believe that they're not going to break shit. You don't have the right to charge a fucking employee unless you are letting them share in the profits of that business. Just my opinion. It's a scumbag move. It's a shit thing to do. What are your thoughts on right to repair in aviation? Right now, you need to have a government license to do most maintenance on an aircraft of any size. I have no opinion on that because I don't know anything about the aviation industry. I don't know anything about the challenges facing the aviation industry, and I have no idea where to even begin. If an employee F's up, it costs you money, and they learn it's money well spent. No, it usually isn't, because there's many ways to learn without fucking shit up. Where's Oreo? He's gone. Oreo is gone. Erica's probably going to try to put him on my lap right now and carry him there, and then he's going to claw me, and then that usually happens. But he's probably somewhere over there. This is Mr. Clinton's stream. So this is Mr. Clinton. He has much better ratings than Oreo. The focus groups we've done show that the videos with Clinton do better than videos with Oreo. So we're going to continue videos with Clinton. My family and is fighting like crazy. My dad, my aunt, and my uncle have had the family business since 1953. My dad died this year. My aunt will not stop fighting. How do you? Thank you, William. I hope to do some more. The way that I would deal with that is probably not the way most would. I don't think that solely because someone is family that you have to put up with all of their crap. If anything, if you're in I think you need to have higher standards for those relationships that you believe cannot be broken. There are members of my family that are not exactly... What I dislike about Samsung phones is they take after a lot of the crap that Apple does, like gluing the battery in, some anti-repair stuff about them. And mainly, they just get... Every Samsung phone I've had, the S1, S3, S5, S7, the Galaxy S4G, the S3, the S5, and the S7, they all become ridiculously slow after 6 months to a year, even if I reset it to factory, reset everything, and it just got annoying. It's like it's a $700 phone. It shouldn't get slow that quickly. I can buy a Moto G for $140, and it's slow it's as slow right out of the box without having to pay all. Do I part out a computer and sell the components, or do I put the extra effort in and make it as I would have the computer on my own? That's a confusing-ass question. Do what you want to do. If you want to part out a computer, then you part it out to sell it. Put an extra effort and make it as I would have the computer. Like, do you want to have a computer, or do you want to sell a computer? Those are two different things. Can I join the next focus group for Oreo versus Mr. Clinton? Yes. Email erica@rossmangroup.com. Erica conducts the focus groups. What is your opinion on the M1 Max? I have none. I genuinely don't care. I hate even thinking about the new machines because I don't like. It's just it's like everybody, remember when all the kids would ask you about the prom after party or something, and you didn't go to prom because nobody wanted to go with you, and you didn't get along with people going, and no one invited you to the after party. It's like hearing about a party you're not invited to. I can't get chips to computers that came out in 2018. You think I give a fuck about the 2020 MacBooks? No. I can't buy a CD3217 for a computer that came out last year. I can't buy an ISL 9240 for a computer that came out 2 years ago. Of course, I don't give a shit about the M1 MacBooks. I'm a repair shop, and as if I can't repair them, then I don't care. What's your take on Amazon and Apple not playing their part in tackling electronic waste? Well, Apple, I think, has a much bigger hand in it than Amazon because Apple is manufacturing, seems to be more products and manufacturing them in a way where throwing them away is the right thing to do in their model rather than fix it, or throw it away in terms, give it back to them so that they can probably make back 5 or 10% of the materials and mineral wealth in it. I mean, obviously, you know what I think of it with Apple. If you watch this channel, you know what I think of it. What model MacBook Pro I don't mind buying used would you recommend for light audio, post-production, Pro Tools, etc.? A1502 from 2013 or 2014. But ideally get a ThinkPad P50. And why are you using Pro Tools? It's 2020. Are we still dealing with that? If you have a recording studio, you must use Pro Tools thing? I was really hoping that would die at some point. I hate DigiDesign. I shouldn't say it. You hate nothing. You intensely dislike it. I intensely dislike DigiDesign. Even though you most likely don't agree on much, I'd love to see you on a Ben Shapiro Sunday special for a non-political talk about right to repair in big tech. I don't know. I'd show up. I really don't care. Like, I would have the same talk with Kyle Kalinske about right to repair that I would Ben Shapiro. I don't care. It's not like, I can't talk to this person because they disagree with me. It's, they said, like, I'm never that type of person that's going to say they said this, and that's the P word, the problematic, so I can't talk to them. I want right to repair to be something that as many people as possible, A, know is an issue, and B, can make an informed decision on after hearing the arguments and after hearing what's going on. And, if anybody wants to talk about it, I'm really down to talk to virtually anybody. The one time that I didn't, I got an email from from the producer of someone. I should stream Dota 2, but I guess not now. But was someone who was a host on Fox or MSNBC or one of those places who said, would you like to have a discussion? And I checked out their videos, and it was like one of those large hosts that was trying to move into having his own YouTube channel. And every single one of them was 2 to 3 minutes, hyper-edited. And I said, sure, I'm happy to have a conversation. I just like to record my own copy and upload it. Because you know how it is with mainstream media. I'm sure you know how. I never fucking heard back from them. But any sort of conversation where it's long form and we get to have a real conversation, I really don't care. I'll discuss right to repair with just about anybody. Majoring in CS, I'm thinking of switching over into CE. But as an engineering degree is difficult, I'm worried about might do terribly. Thoughts? I don't know. I quit college because I couldn't pass chemistry. I don't know what CE is. Is that computer engineering? I'm majoring in computer science and thinking of switching over to computer engineering or C. I don't even know. Like, I literally don't know what CE is. I'm just guessing computer engineering. I don't see how, if science is hard, I don't see how engineering is going to be any easier. You are a problematic champion. You are evil. That is an insulting word. That is an insulting word. I'm just making a point, Free Baker. I really, it's not like I'm going to say this person disagrees with me here or this person is here in the political aisle. I will talk to virtually anybody regarding right to repair. I don't care how insane your political views are. I want there to be as many intersecting groups as possible that want to see right to repair happen. If you believe in a cause, I'm not even gonna dignify that shit down there with the response. You know why I'm not going to install fucking Gentoo. The only way you're going to get something like this, change like this done, is to get as many people as humanly possible to want to see it happen. And that's what it takes. It just, you just got to suck it up and, speak to as many people as humanly possible. Some of those people you may not agree with. Some of them you may not even like. But guess what? You're going to need them on your side. Really curious what you as a small business owner think the long-term impact of COVID and the obvious increased risk of creating a new business will have in the future of entrepreneurship. I think it's going to fundamentally change the way people think about where to start their businesses. Like for me, New York, it costs more money, but there's A, I already lived here and I didn't really feel like moving, and B, there's a very, very large, densely located group of people that have a lot of money and also Apple products. and that mattered. You know, I didn't really like moving all together just because of certain things. It wasn't really on the top of my head. It's, you know, like, okay, taxes are a little bit less somewhere else, but the business is this much less somewhere else. But yeah, if I was starting a business from scratch, if I were starting from scratch, like over again, I'm going to South Dakota. Screw this. I'll go to some place where they don't fucking send the sheriffs to a bar because they have people showing up to drink, and because that's illegal, but it's not illegal that, you know, a restaurant like 2 blocks away, people can eat indoors. You know, just no. I think it's going to change people's concepts as to where to start businesses, for sure. You know, because location is important now more than ever for different reasons than most people imagine. Can you debate right to repair while stomping noobs at Dota 2? Probably not. I don't want to go into serious debt for college. I'm top 8 in my school. Is it realistic to expect scholarships to cover the majority of tuition? If you're top 8 of your school, you're probably going to college for free. I don't know if stuff has changed, but all the kids that were in my high school that were like even remotely close to that, they did not pay a dime for college. Tell Camille I said hi. I went to college with him. I will tell Camille hi, Arrow Vortex. He is a quality board repair person, and I'm happy that he's here fixing boards. I'm humbled and honored that Camille chooses to continue working here. I cannot imagine working with me is even remotely enjoyable or easy. How large is your Johnson? You know what? Let me show you on no. You have to pay me more than $5 to get that information. That's insulting. Your thoughts on the ThinkPad E series? ThinkPad, there's a ThinkPad Erica series? Erica, there's a ThinkPad Erica series. It's called the E series. I'm going to get it for her birthday. You know what I really want to do? What I want to do for Christmas. Thank you very much, person whose name I have no hope of pronouncing. Not only can I can't pronounce your currency or your name, but I appreciate you. What I think would be amazing is to find a ThinkPad where I could actually install OS X as a Hackintosh. I want to paint it gray and like write MacBook Air on it and see if I could get Erica to believe that it's a MacBook. I want to see if I could trick her for Christmas. Because her computer runs like a piece of shit. She was trying to edit this basic 3-minute movie in iMovie, not even high bitrate footage, just shit from an old obsolete Samsung phone. And she can't even do that because it has less RAM than that. Her computer has less RAM than my PFSense router at the store. Sorry, message was cut off. My family is fighting after Dad's death, and we run a few businesses together. What would you do? Is the money worth the aggravation? That's really what it comes down to. And also, how much contact do you have to have with them in order to run the business? Those are 2 questions you got to ask yourself. Can you make more videos about Bafang? Maybe. You're one of the least evil people sharing their opinion on YouTube. No, I am evil. You just probably don't know it yet. Everybody's evil somewhere inside. There's a devil and an angel on the shoulder of every man and woman in the world, and everybody in between. There really is. And you're always like this far away from becoming a piece of shit. And I did a video on this a few months ago, and another one last year. Like, you're always this close to being a piece of shit. And if you think you're not a piece of shit, you're probably already there. Amazon's return policy is monstrous. It all gets tossed in the garbage. That's scary. I live in South Dakota, but I used to code for John Deere and had to write code that actively denied right to repair after having a come-to-Jesus moment. I left to go to just as corrupt a company, Verizon. I will say the no-state income taxes are epic. Would you fix boards here? Probably for a salary cut if you're working as a coder at Verizon or John Deere if I went to South Dakota. One of the few level-headed people I tune in to actually learn and get a better scope of what's going on. Thanks, man. Thank you, Tyler. I'm gonna start recruiting right now for my move to South Dakota. The hardest part about that is really like finding all these people that can do this fairly difficult task again and starting fresh. I have had virtually no luck with this on-the-job training thing. Like, I've tried it. You know, people do progress. It's just I need their progress to be like this learning, and it kind of tends to be like this. ABET. Yeah, that's just another acronym I don't know, but thank you, JR. You should make a Twitch TV, says Mahit Singh. I have a Twitch TV. They're the chat that I avoid in the left window. I feel like going live is a better business than a repair shop. No, I like my business. I don't want this. I honestly, I would never want to have YouTube become a business. And I remember arguing this with Eli a long time ago, and I'll discuss. What's your take on jealousy in relationships? And what are they jealous of? If you think your partner is cheating on you, you really shouldn't be jealous. You should just find someone else, in my opinion. Like, I've been with people that were, I shit you not, if I had a female mod in my comment section, like, would get aggravated at it, or, like, I'm never going to forget this one time that I got, like, there was a Swedish woman in my chat, and one person kept donating 1 sec, 1 sec, 1 sec, and then there was, like, a couple of Swedish people in my chat, and then someone donated, like, 2 secs, and now I said, now I can finally say I've had sex in Sweden. I had like 6 pages of angry text messages from someone who just like, and like, I learned my lesson right there. You know, like, just be around people who are secure in themselves. And if you're around people who are not secure in themselves, it might just be because you're not secure in yourself and you need to improve yourself, which is what I learned about me, is I needed to improve myself a lot, and I really hadn't. I still got a long way to go. But yeah, I really have no desire to be in relationships where there's any sort of jealousy whatsoever. Like, any tips for removing light to moderately stripped Torx screws in a laptop? Use an Exolite 175M fine-tipped snipper. It'll allow you to get under the screw, squeeze, and then you'll be able to turn it. Many people will suggest to use a Dremel. That's very risky because you risk ruining the stuff around it if your hand slips, and honestly, I just don't, I don't see how that works most of the time. What really works, like the whole micro Dremel thing, they're over-engineering the problem. Exolite, grab the fucking screw and turn it. I don't have any fan spin video. I forget what happened before the jealousy question. That makes me sad because I was on it. I was answering something before that, and I feel like I was on to something, and I forgot the question. So now I'm kind of sad. I'm a noob, but I want to get familiar with fixing electronics. What do you recommend I read and kits to buy to solder resistors and capacitors? So firstly, your pronunciation is on point, which is more than I can say for any attempt I'll make to pronounce your name. But really, what you want, just buy cheap shit that you're not going to get in trouble if you break. It's not like it belongs to someone else. You know, buy some Acer 5517 piece of crap. Watch some of my videos. Like, it's free, really. Just like, I wish, honestly, like, I'm not saying this to self-aggrandize. I wish the shit that I was putting out now was available 10 years ago. It would have saved me so much time. Bored of my current job and thinking of selling my body. I'm 64 and 422 pounds. Thoughts? You're probably going to make as much money doing that as I did as a health insurance salesman. Ed, it's literally the industry standard. What the fuck? I'm a recording engineer, I know. Listen, I was being hopeful. There's no human being that lived through the mid-2000s that didn't hate DigiDesign if they were in the recording industry. Remember those fucking piece of shit cards with those... Like, they used to sell these $7,000 cards that you needed to use in order to use Pro Tools with anything that had like 16 in or out. And these cards had the processing power of a 1994 calculator. It's just, gah. And remember the DigiDesign 888s? Oh my God, my camera has a better analog to digital converter built into it, and I got it for $200 on eBay. It's the DigiDesign 888 it takes any analog signal and manages to turn it into the ugliest group of ones and zeros on planet Earth. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Who knows if I still have brain cells, Robin? Cheers, I donated that poop obsolete Samsung. How do you weigh a company's right to make their devices they please and the right person has to repair their own device? Well, this is an interesting question. This is part of why I'm actually not for those in the EU that are trying to mandate that everybody use USB-C as a charge port. I'm not against a company using anything they want. USB-C, micro USB, mini USB, you can use fucking SCSI as a charge port on your phone. I don't give a shit. What I'm aggravated with is when you tell the company that makes the chip that goes into your phone for the charging, don't sell this to anybody. That's where I don't care how you put together your device. I care when you go out of your way to program specific chips to kill themselves if I try to read the firmware so that I can't fix your computer if it doesn't charge a battery. Moving to Manhattan next year for college, super excited, but also super nervous. Any advice for a city newcomer? Thanks for your videos. Any advice? Don't let Manhattan steal your soul. If you're going to change who you are as a human being, don't change to adapt to the environment. Change because you think you're becoming a better person. Don't change to fit in. Your videos inspired me to learn basic soldering. I probably couldn't make the fan spin, but it's good to have goals. Thank you. What do you think of smartphone app business? That's kind of like asking, what do you think of stock market? I don't know. It's way too general a question. I don't have an answer to that. I'm sorry. I have absolutely no answer to that. Are you a programmer? Are you good at programming? Are you bad at programming? Do you want to program? Do you have an idea for an app that's actually good, or are you just trying to get rich quick? Staten Island thoughts. I grew up there. It's kind of a cesspool. I left before I turned 20. For your information, you making me... That's weird. That's really weird. So, honestly, this is great. This is an excellent segue into this question about Staten Island. So, my thoughts about Staten Island are pretty much this. So, when I lived in Staten Island, it was very common. Like, you could just have someone who's just walking down the road, and if there's 2 or 3 kids sitting on the stoop, they'll just start looking and laughing, and and they'll just try to make him feel weird just because he's walking by and he's new. Whereas, like, where I live right now, as I said a half an hour ago in the stream, like 3 of the major shootings that just happened recently happened within blocks of my apartment. This is not the nicest of neighborhoods. But when I walk down the street, it's like people just leave me the fuck alone. And in Staten Island, where I lived, it was an incredibly, incredibly safe neighborhood. I don't know who you are to unban you, and I don't know why I banned you. I probably had a good reason, so I can't go through that because I have no idea how to. But yeah, with Staten Island, the issue is, like, I would almost rather live in a crappier neighborhood where people just leave me be than live in a nice upscale suburb where when I'm walking by, people who are in their 20s act like they're 10. And like my entire experience with Staten Island was just it was just that thing over and over and over again. It was like the people that live with their parents until they're 40 or they're 50 years old that have nothing better to do. And it was an incredibly depressing place. And I wanted to get out as soon as humanly possible. Thanks, Lewis in chat, for answering my college question. This last one is thanks for a video where you talked about yelling in front of kids. That one seems to be quite popular, and I'm happy because there was a message in there that I think needs to be heard more often. Yeah, I grew up in Richmond Town, Staten Island, and I was glad to get out of there as soon as humanly possible. Like, no love lost. Should I sell my computers RAM by RAM, hard drive by hard drive, or make the best of the hardware altogether? I don't know, whatever. If you have more time, sell part by part. If you don't care about getting the most for each individual component, then just sell it all as an entirely built computer. So if your time is more important than your money, sell the whole computer. If money is more important than your time, sell part by part. And why do they always show up at the same time? What impact do you think being selfless and offering content for free has had in your brand? And have a 2012 iMac, any advice on how to speed it up? All right, so you speed up the iMac by putting an SSD in it and offering content for free. I don't know what effect it's had on my business. I really can't say. On one hand, I could have increased the amount of incoming business that comes in because more people know who we are. On the other hand, I had a supply business that was selling 1,200 parts a day before I had a YouTube channel. And like not 1,200 to one person, like 1,200 separate orders a day sometimes. And that's weird. And Now I forgot what I was talking about. Son of a bitch. Ah. Yeah, I really forgot what I was talking about. Sorry. I feel bad because someone's not getting their question answered. Too many weird questions showed up on the screen at the same time. So now I can't read them.
Something about your car business 1,200.
Before that.
Oh, I can't remember.
Down the memory hole it goes then.
Robust.
Thank you, Daniel Bush. Let's see. Can I find what was on the screen? It's probably a bad idea to try and find the question because by the time I find that question, 10 other questions will show up. Let's see. Yeah, so that. It's possible that I have a lot more business, but it's also possible I have a lot less because I created my competition. So there's no way for me to know whether me creating my own competition lowered my business more than it raised it as a result of the advertising ever would, unless I had a time machine and I went back in time. I'll genuinely never know. What I do know is that it definitely 110% fucked up my chances of getting financing from larger institutions. But honestly, I really, I'm better off not being in debt anyway. In South Dakota, you can run for public office, raise funds, and son of a bitch, there's really no time to actually read anything here.
Robust.
Fuck me. Let me answer a question. What are your thoughts on the tension between industrial design versus functionality from a marketing point of view? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm sorry. I don't know about that. Industrial design versus functionality. If you mean form over functionality, that I get. Industrial design, I really don't know what that's code for. In South Dakota, you can run for public office, raise funds, and even if you win, you get to transfer all funds into your personal account and you pay 0 taxes. The corruption, true corruption, fun rabbit hole. Look up Anti-Corruption Act South Dakota.
Robust.
I guess that's what happens if you're a winner. I don't know how to say that. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. What happened at New York looks like Cuomo is effing shit up. Yeah. It's not even so much him doing it. A lot of it is that, how do I put this? A lot of people in New York City like him. You know, like when he got an Emmy for how he dealt with coronavirus, the people here, they like him. Like, from outside, it looks like he's fucking everything up, but from inside, there's a lot of people in New York that love him. It's kind of like with Trump. Like, you can look at what Trump does and go, oh my God, this is terrible. How did this happen if you're in another country? But then, you know, the people that are watching him screw everything up love him. They love him. They love everything he does. He can't do anything wrong. And it's kind of the same thing with Cuomo. It's just like they are, like Trump and Cuomo are opposite sides of the same dictatorial coin. And it's interesting that people who like one hate the other when there's just so much that they have in common. Wife and I started watching, love your ethics and attitude, love the new M1, thoughts on the new M1 Max. I have no idea. And as I mentioned earlier, I probably won't for the next 4 years. Seriously, when a new computer comes out, probably usually minimum 3 years before I can even buy a screen for it. So I'm salty about it, which is why I don't mention them.
Robust.
I work in a small shop in New York as a technician. The new 14 update has been giving me battery notifications. Have you experienced it as well? 90% of the work we do on iPhones is data recovery, so I honestly couldn't answer you. I could ask David because he does the iPhone repairs. Can I tell like a embarrassing truth? Like I don't think I've opened an iPhone here in like 4 years. I don't. I think the last time I opened an iPhone was for a video I did in 2017. I used to be the only person who worked here on the weekends, so I'd have to fix 10 or 20 screens in a row, and like I just got so sick and tired of doing normal repairs plus 20 screen repairs plus every single incoming phone call from someone who walks in the store. I just got so burned out on it that I haven't opened a phone in 3 or 4 years. I'm spoiled. What can I have a staff. I apologize. I was once a health insurance agent. I made a ton of money. Now that I look back, we were selling some shady products. I am pro universal healthcare. Yeah, there's nothing to make you cynical about the modern health insurance system than having been a health insurance salesman is what I find from my experience.
Robust.
Did you not get any more of that list of videos for your wiki? Some, but not a lot. When are you going to check out Long Island? The problem with Long Island is that you're not escaping the problems of New York. You're just kind of relocating them. It's kind of like, you know, put this. It's like the Indian food is giving me diarrhea, so let me have Doritos with sour cream dip. You know, it's like it's not really much of a difference. 2.2% property tax, insanely expensive properties, like all sorts of.
Robust.
You think money has actual value or only has value that everyone gives it? It only has value that everyone gives it. Money is paper. What can you do with a piece of paper? It's kind of useless. At least with gold, you could say, I could make electrical contacts with this or something. But, well, what do you do with money? You don't think you would be as distracted as everyone else on the internet if you grew up during this time? I don't know. Would you move to Canada? I don't think so. No, I don't think I'd be welcome there. What camera do you use in your videos and live streams? Most of my other videos have it in the description. It's a Sony A5100. Like, you can get these on eBay with a broken flash for $250 and an AT4050 microphone. Pro Tools still refuses to officially support AMD. Pro Tools can gargle my balls, as can DigiDesign. Horrible company. Lewis, you really need to learn programming more and fix Linux. I can barely fix a MacBook, man. Lewis.exe has crashed. If you could read my 2 messages ago, if answers I can work for you. Fuck. Let's see. LAURITSEN. You're not showing up in my feed, so I can't see your message. I just hit Control F and I typed your name and I can't find it. Fuck. If someone can paste this message for me in the Twitch chat, I'd appreciate it. Because the Twitch chat is much slower than the YouTube one, so I can actually read it. The YouTube chat is impossible. I'm 10 minutes behind on that. Yeah, I can't find you anywhere. I don't know, Wooden Arch. There's too many of them right now, and it's too volatile. The kitty is back. Can you fix graphics cards? I don't know. I don't do it, though.
Robust.
Your videos got me... Damn it, 2 at a time. Which one do I answer and which do I not? Got me answer. Thank you. Okay. You're welcome, Slubbo. For what it's worth, if I ever own a MacBook that needs repairs, I'm going to you directly. Reputation is worth more in the long term than anything else. Well, I hope so. Thank you very much. Maybe this will get to you, but I'm 17. I love your content. My A1707 isn't working, and I started reading your PowerPoint. You make stuff easy and digestible to understand. Thank you, Cole. That's what I was going for. Oh, whoa is pronounced oh, whoa. May I please get a quick oh, whoa? Oh, whoa, whoa? Whoa, whoa. There's this dog that came into the store once named Mishu from a client of ours, and every time we would say what the price of a repair was, the little dog named Mishu would go, whoa, 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 whoa. So when a customer complains now, every now and then Steve will start going, whoa, whoa, from his desk, and I'll have to try to not laugh in front of the customer. I wish I could give you 100,000. I don't think you realize how much the industry owes you in general for all the data you made public. Always keep your chin up. We love you. I don't think the industry really owes me much of anything. I'm just a dude that shares what he knows. And the only reason that I'm where I am is because other people were willing to share what they shared. So if I got where I am because other people were willing to share what they knew, then what would I be? It's not like I'm owed any special debt of gratitude. I'm really just simply repaying what was given and imparted onto me. It's part of my duty. It's not something that anybody should be grateful for. You shouldn't be grateful for someone to paying their debts. It's just that's what you're supposed to do. Choose one. Use an Apple computer forever, or use an OS created by Paul Daniels forever. Erica, can I see Cleo?
Wait, with great power comes great responsibility.
May I use Cleo? Here we go. Game, set, match. All right, let's read some comments.
What do you mean?
You see the question that he asked?
No?
You had to use a Paul Daniels OS or use a Mac for the rest of your life. What do you choose? I need a password so I can use this for the remainder. As an employee at an Apple store at the Genius Bar, how should I go about talking about other repair options? Be honest. Be honest. You're probably going to get fired if you're honest. But here's the thing. You know what you should do? You should record the whole experience. Here's what you should do. Tell the fucking truth. Tell the customers the truth. You don't have to curse. Don't be like me. Just tell them the 110% truth about everything and see what happens. And if you get called into a room someday because you told too many people the truth and you get fired, release the recording. I'll support you. Hundreds of thousands of people out there will have your back and support you. And when you open your own repair shop, where you're able to make way more than you would have ever made at the Apple Genius Bar, doing the right thing by people, you'll know that you made the right decision. It'll be a good start to your career. I believe in that. What's the story on Robust? There was a lobbyist called Charlie Brown. Search for him in my Right to Repair playlists from around January to February of this year, where he is always using the word robust conversations. He wanted to talk about the robust conversations he wanted to have with lawmakers outside of the public hearing. I believe that that is a euphemism for bribe. I want to bribe you. I want to offer you something. Or I want to threaten you with something, or whatever. You know, the way garbage, corrupt politics goes nowadays. That's my theory. He's always talking about robust conversations. What brand recliner do you have? Because it looks comfy. I don't know, but Erica usually puts it in the chat. I forget the recliner I have, but Erica has a link to it. It's some shit I got on Amazon. I think it's Ashley something, but Erica will link it. She's good at this. She will put it in the YouTube and the Twitch chat because she's awesome. My lost message was the cost to break my NDA with John Deere costs more than most people can conceive. It's almost like they have a right to repair on my work. I can fire up the soldering station now, Captain, but code I could not. Damn. So you had to pay to leave. That's insane. Wait. What? Okay, I understand quitting, but why would you need to break your NDA to quit? Did you become a whistleblower? Did you talk about the anti-right to repair stuff with anybody? I'm kind of curious about that. Computer science major, my Java professor said not to do evil for an employer for a paycheck. Fair. I'd rather pursue evil passion projects anyway. Yeah, it sounds like Paul Daniels coding Flexboard View. I am so far behind on chat. Long Island sucks, mean people. There's mean people everywhere. I know Justin. Justin's from Long Island.
Hey, I just linked it in.
Beautiful. So she just linked the chair in the YouTube chat. If you're in Twitch, you're kind of fucked and you have to go over to YouTube. I'm sorry. I don't think Eric has a YouTube account, a Twitch account. I've noticed the trend of every laptop manufacturer wanting MacBooks. MacBooks by soldering RAM to the board. It sucks. Yeah, this is an aggravating thing where Apple makes something popular and gets away with it, and then everybody else kind of follows suit. Depends on what's wrong with it, Alex. I kind of shy away from it because it's often not profitable and pain in the ass. Data recovery mostly.
Robust.
What skills besides repair did you also develop over the years? I think I developed the skill of being able to earn the trust of someone. I think I've developed the skill of being able to earn someone's trust and have them believe that I'm competent when I meet them, that I did not have earlier. Because when I started out doing this, I would show up to people's houses in my $5 basketball shorts at 19 years old with no money. No real, any special, no business insurance or anything like that, and do my job. And it was incredibly difficult to get anybody to believe that I was even remotely competent. So I really had to build that up as a skill. And I think I also built up as a skill mediating conflicts between groups of people. That's going to be something important if you run this type of business and wind up having 15, 16, 17, 18 employees. A lot of the times I fail, but I've learned a lot from it. I'm a certified iPhone tech with a rework station. What are my chances of showing up at your shop and getting an apprenticeship? Honestly, I've been so soured on this whole idea of people learning on the job. It always fails. It almost always. If you already have the skill set and can already do it, there's probably, when we're busy, we'll probably have work for you. But if this is one of those I need to learn as I go, almost every single one of those winds up I haven't had good luck with it. What's the most absurd story you've had from a customer coming from an Apple store. The one where this woman's battery was unplugged and they told her that she needed a motherboard. I did a video on that, I think, in 2018. Ethical AI researcher Timnit Gebru fired from Google. I will Google that. I will DuckDuckGo that in honor of Timnit Gebru. I will DuckDuckGo that later. Oh, whoa. Yeah, raw. It makes me think of Mishu the dog now. I remember Steve said, oh, no, it's usually $250 to replace the screen on the classic model. This one's a Retina, so it's going to be $400. And then Mishu went, whoa, 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 whoa. And then she said, yeah, so it's $400? He said, yeah, it's $400 plus tax. And then the dog went, whoa, 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 whoa. It was so cute. The dog knew. Every time Steve said something regarding price, the dog would go, whoa, whoa, whoa. So it became like a running meme at the store. Anytime a customer was like complaining about some shit like that, anytime it wasn't one complaint, but it was a complaint at every single step of the process, just to be melodramatic about it. Steve would start going like, "Whoa, whoa." Do you think laptop manufacturers with the Apple thing of just selling laptops where they are just tablets with keyboards attached? I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. And now there's two more that showed up at the same time. This is the quality exposure I expect from you from my hard work snowflake mode on. I don't recommend Linux to anyone. I'm not that evil. You just pissed off all the Stallman people. I love your bike ride. Oh, fuck. I missed it. Paul Daniels does honestly make amazing software. Like, I'm not kidding. The power supply software and the multimeter software, he put together from scratch on a few days' notice. He put hours of work into that. He earned that space on my website. Have you ever considered starting a conversation-based podcast? I realize you're extremely a busy person, but I realize there's a large market for hearing general wisdom. I don't think I have general wisdom. I think that's part of it. I have no idea why the fuck people choose to watch this shit. Like, I really don't get it. Don't get me wrong. I could understand if, like, I don't know what you mean by sal. If I can't make a profit on it and pay my employees, then I don't. And stuff that's really, really old tends to not be profitable, which means that I probably can't pay my staff, which means I can't work on them. But I don't understand why the fuck anybody watches this. I could understand if I had 300 subscribers. If 300 subscribers were watching my channel, that would be maybe like most of the repair industry or most people in the repair industry. I get it, but like 1.35 million, that's just, I still am not comfortable with why the hell so many people find me interesting. So I really haven't taken the idea of doing this professionally. One of the things I remember seeing with watching Eli the Computer Guy's videos is a lot of his video would be a back and forth between him in the comment section or him in the live chat, and there tended to be this feedback loop where like the shittiest comment in the live chat or the comments would then be the jump off point for the discussion in the next video. And then that shitty jump off point would then create more shitty comments, which then created a new shitty jump off point for the next video. And it became this kind of thing where like, well, what I noticed is the comment section starts to slowly become your world, and doing YouTube as a living or content creation seems to isolate you from the real world in a way that I'm just not comfortable with. Which is weird because I'm a person, I don't like people in general. So you'd think I'd want to be isolated, but I suppose I learned something about myself there. Kind of don't want to be. I'm about to turn 24, moving to a new city alone for work, feeling kind of lost, super vague. I know. Any advice? Nope, none at all. Yeah, I don't know. I have none. Find something to do that'll keep up your time and don't change to fit in. I love your bike ride videos of the city. You've shown more about the true state of the city than any news outlet has shown. Thank you. Plus, they're just more enjoyable to watch. Keep them coming, please. I will. I really expected like nobody would watch that stuff, but a surprising number of people wound up watching that stuff, which is crazy to me.
Robust.
Got lucky and bought a People's Republic of China 2000 for $150. Should I keep it or sell? I don't know. I think the People's Republic of China is worth more than $150.
robust.
I can't pet BlackBerry because she's not here, but this is Mr. Clinton. Did you take down the ply yet on your store? I love the streams. No, I haven't. Okay, now BlackBerry's here, but I can't scroll through the chat because BlackBerry's here. She's my mousepad.
Robust.
I think maybe I'm 0.7 of those things, Garrett, but I appreciate it. Everybody watching should go check out pldaniels.com, especially if they have a broken MacBook in Australia.
I just realized you have a
Thank you,
camera
memory.
left and right.
I do, but I have to get rid of this one.
Why?
That kitty's in the way. I can't use my mouse.
You want 3 cats?
Robust.
I still have the plywood up at the moment. The push on ARM chip, zero upgradability in x86, just dies off a single trash board machine that barely runs the OS, aka laptop. What upgradability do you get in most laptops nowadays when the CPU is soldered on using BGA? Do you think commercial real estate will ever see a normal in New York City when people move back post-vaccine? Commercial real estate stocks like Simon Property green, and the message is off the screen because, God forbid, I be able to read it.
Robust.
Pet BlackBerry for me. Don't you tell me what to do. I got to read my messages. I got to find that message that escaped from the screen. Son of a bitch. Where did it go? There we go. Oh, fuck, I lost it again. I think that real estate has a chance to actually get... I was going to pet you, BlackBerry! She ran away. Well, I can't do anything. She ran away. I think real estate in New York City is going to become more expensive than it's ever been. If Facebook, Google, and Apple all decide to buy up a bunch of real estate or lease a bunch of real estate here, this is probably going to be the city of tech oligopolies and tech monarchs. That it's going to further push more people out on the edge. It's going to increase property prices even more for residential and... No. Stop that. I need my mouse. Erica.
I thought you were going to
Mouse. It's going to increase property prices more and more and more, so it's going to make it worse and worse. Laura, I saw your message. It's just your message is very long, and I have about a 15-second window to read any message because the moment that I read, see that happens. So that message is really long, so I wasn't able to read it because, I read it. It's just I can't keep up with it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what eGIF means. Is that an electronic GIF? Is that a picture file that animates but electronically? I have no idea what that means. Per a lifetime NDA, I cannot expose, discuss in detail, or redistribute my work.
Robust.
I still don't understand why you would have to pay to get out of an agreement if you're quitting a job. That still doesn't make any sense to me. You shouldn't have to pay to get out of a job. I guess one thing if you leaked the information, but I don't see that. But if you didn't leak the information, then I don't see why you should have to pay to leave. That seems weird. Don't delay, buy Paul Daniels' software today. Yes, buy it. Or send him your MacBook to fix. Paul Daniels has done some genuinely amazing work for the repair industry, whether it's creating Open Board View for free, creating Flex Board View cheaply. What's a good data recovery setup for intermediate repair? What do you use at your store? The link would be fine if you don't want to spend too much time. If you're in the very beginning stages of this, if you're in the absolute utter beginning stages of this and you're doing data recovery for people that are never going to have more than $100 to $200 to spend on it in their entire life and the data's not worth more than it, then like this is probably like beginner level. Then DD Rescue on a computer and buy a copy of something like RStudio and just go from there. Make your image and then work from the image. If you want to buy a real setup, something like one of those little clean room benches, one of those pure clean room benches, and a PC3000 setup. Ace Lab, I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive as hell. Ace Lab stuff is so expensive it's gonna make you want to puke. But if you plan to do this as a business, it will allow you to make that money back, and they do offer good support on their product. That's one thing I could say is Ace Lab offers very good support on their PC3000 products. It's genuinely amazing support, and it's worth the money. But it will make you feel sick when you see the price tag. I miss upgradable CPUs. Reason of son of a bit. You legitimately cannot answer a question without something else showing up.
Robust.
Fuck me. Go to Boise. Boise is a hub for business creation. Don't look at the politics of Idaho or anywhere. You are extremely creative. You created business from scratch in one of the hardest areas of the world to thrive. Contact me. I don't know how to contact someone who has numbers in their name, and I don't. Yeah, it's not really that. It's just son of a bitch. Well, you tried to fix a Tesla vehicle computer. I don't know. I'd probably fuck it up. No schematic, no board view, no test parts, no nothing. The chances of me getting anywhere on that are pretty slim. Pretty slim. The main issue in this business is that I have found that teaching people, it takes a really long time. If you're going to take someone who doesn't know how to do this, who hasn't spent time on their own to try to figure it out, it's probably going to be 6 months to a year before they get any good at it. And if I move someplace, if I move there and I don't take my existing business, that means I'm paying a staff of people to learn without any business. That's financial suicide if you're not bankrolled by somebody else. And if I take my business and I just say I'm moving it, I'm not creating a new location, I'm moving my business there immediately like that, that means I'm going to get an influx of 30 to 50 mail-in tickets a day and a staff that takes 3 to 6 months to train, minimum, and nobody to do that work for the first 3 to 6 months, whereby every single repair is botched with a 1-star review until there's no more business. So that's the problem that I currently have with moving. And what I get in response are usually responses from people that are not in this business, that don't really do what we do, that just say, oh, it's much easier than that. You're just making an excuse. Take it from me, man. The person that's been a middle manager at a pizzeria for 40 years. And like, there's nothing wrong with having a normal job. It's just, it doesn't really help when you're like saying it's very easy to do something that's actually very hard. Put a Bafang in the Tesla and upgrade these batteries that blew up. I actually want to do the opposite. I want to put a Tesla motor on my bike. Sonny was telling me about someone who tried to do this, and when they throttled the bike just shot out from under them because there was so much torque. I actually miss upgradable CPUs. Reason why I still have a T440p maxed out. I still like the trackpad. I actually upgraded the CPU on that when I had it. But the thing is, even if you get a laptop that's upgradable in that way, the best possible CPU you could put in there is probably shittier than an average Ultrabook you can buy right now. We view your videos not only because you fix things, but because you actually become the voice of the customer that has been screwed by Apple. Thank you. You're welcome. Boise, Idaho has 9,000 semiconductor process engineers working at Micron. It's a genius place to start a repair company. Yes and no. So just because you're surrounded by a bunch of Micron engineers, okay, so you're surrounded by a bunch of people that get $200,000 a year in a business where you can't afford to pay people more than $800,000 a year, if even. Like, this is a business where on average you're lucky if the owner of the business is making $60,000 to $80,000 a year for a good number of the repair shops that I've dealt with. Some of them are making 6 figures, but like, you get the point. It just means you're around a bunch of talent. Well, firstly, engineers for Micron are not necessarily going to be great at it. But even if they were, like, well, what's my sales pitch? Hey, how's that healthcare, pension, life insurance, health insurance, and all that working out for you? Would you like to take an entry-level job at a small, independent repair shop? Eh? Don't do it. Right to Repair still needs you. I could still fight for Right to Repair from Boise, Idaho, couldn't I, Sonny? Why is Ace Lab so expensive? They're expensive because it is a custom developed tool that cost them a lot of money in development to make for a very niche industry. Lineage OS. I haven't tried it. So Ace Lab is expensive because they have a very small number of customers, but they need to do an insane amount of development work to make that software and to continue updating it year after year after year as new drives come out. So if they're going to offer this incredibly complicated product that probably maybe max 1,000 people in the United States will want to own, they're going to have to make some good money off of each individual user to make that work. It's not like hundreds of millions of people are buying Ace Lab stuff. It's not because it's not good. It's just because it's a niche industry. Did you get a loan to start your business? Nope. I started with $258 that I scraped together. At some point in 2010, I think I got a loan of around $7,000 or so, and that I paid back soon after. I then started with that same individual, a supply company, where they provided seed money as a partner, not as a loan, and became a partner, but that company wound up failing. But for the repair business, it really just kind of was, live someplace with termites, work 12 hours a day, do that for 3 years before you're even able to consider opening a shitty tiny store in a crap hole room in the East Village that's 650 square foot. I'm glad that you quit as a protest, Lauritsen. A lot of people probably wouldn't do what you did, and you can say that what you did was the right thing, and you can stand on the high ground there. That'll mean something long term, even if it means you make a little less money. I'm proud of you, and probably a bunch of other people will be proud of you. In Japan, they have power suits to aid in moving. Too few young people to be movers. Would you rent those frames in America? I don't know what you mean by renting frames. I don't understand that at all. I'm sorry. If you put a Tesla motor on your bike, just name it Formula Bike, Formula One for how fast it'll go. What distro you're running. I think it's Ubuntu Studio. I'm being a noob. There was a time where I used Gentoo Linux for many, many years because I thought that it made me smarter. I got to brag. Look at me. I'm so smart that I spend 3 hours trying to figure out Gentoo portage errors every time I try to compile software. That means I'm smarter and more better at using a computer than you. And then at some point I realized that all that crap is just a dick waving contest and not worth the time or effort. I'd rather actually use my computer to produce, whether it's producing repair videos that help other people or doing work building my business, than trying to solve a puzzle all the time. Honestly, I think that using Linux for as many years as I did, it really honed the puzzle solving part of my brain that I use for actually doing board repair. So I shouldn't say that it was a waste. Using Gentoo from 2003 to 2014 or so, it really did hone the puzzle-solving portion of my brain. Because if you want to do basic-ass shit, if you want to install a fucking program in Gentoo, it's solving a puzzle. You want to install a desktop manager in Gentoo, that's a puzzle. You want to get your trackpad middle mouse button to work, that's a 3-day-long fucking puzzle. Everything in Gentoo is a puzzle. It's like playing, Legend of Zork or something. Just to get anything to work. And the amount of time that I spent doing that, it really did hone the part of my brain, the exact part of my brain that I was using for how does this system work? What is going to be responsible for creating PM Sleep S4L? I have 79 pages in the schematic, and all this stuff kind of works with each other. How does this all fit together? And using Linux for as long as I did, while I did waste obscene amounts of time so that I could appear as if I was smart for using an operating system that made everything take 10 times longer than it actually needed to take because it's cool and makes you smarter. As much time as I wasted there, the one thing I can say is it likely prepared my brain for the work that I do now and made me better at it. Or maybe that's just the only way I can justify wasting 12 years of my life as a fucking Gentoo user. I don't know. That was punishing. That was fucking punishing. 12 years of Gentoo, that's a prison sentence. That's a prison sentence. You can just type emerge and the name of the program. It's a package manager. It'll just work. There's never going to be package conflicts. It's never going to take you 3 hours to install a program. And here's the thing. Once you finally fix the package conflicts for one program, it fucked up your ability to install another program. And then you fix the package conflicts for that one, it fucks up your ability to install this one. And then when you fix the package conflicts for this one and this one, you can't install that one. Oh, God. Gentoo is... Gentoo. The one thing that I will say I will appreciate for the rest of my life about Gentoo is it really genuinely did sharpen that part of my brain that I needed to have sharpened to be a good problem solver at my business and to be a good problem solver with board repair. If I didn't spend 12 years torturing my brain with Gentoo, I probably would be a fucking genius bar technician. Like, I'm being serious there. That trauma went to good use. You know, those nights on IRC at 3 in the morning trying to figure out how to get some basic ass shit like SESI emulation working so I could burn a fucking CD, that shit got me somewhere. It worked. Anyway, that's about it for today. I would like to leave and finish my day. So I am going to leave now. My apologies if I miss your message. There's a bunch of them. If I miss your message, email erica@rossmangroup.com. And she will tell me, and I'll mention it later. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. And say hi to Paul Daniels. PLDaniels.com. That is PLDaniels.com. Paul Daniels.